Happy holidays to everybody. I want you to know that we're going to show you here how to make a ham for your Christmas dinner. And we're going to start off with a 20-pound cruise ham. And as my family calls it, the best damn holiday ham. Okay? Anyway, what you want to do is you want to open it up. I usually put it on a plate, get myself a couple paper towels. And I usually keep a plastic bag or a trash can close by so that I can throw away all the excess fat. A lot of people like to keep the fat on because they say it adds flavor. I don't know. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and if I don't cook it for the holidays, my family gets mad at me. So I'm hoping what I do is right. And one of the other things I'm going to teach you throughout this video is how to come alive, because you're in the Pepsi generation. And believe it or not, we're actually going to be pouring Pepsi on this throughout the entire cooking process, just so that it actually tenderizes the meat and makes it a little bit more flavorful. But what I'm going to start doing myself is trimming off all the excess fat, so that way I can actually score the ham and end up putting what sure a lot of people do use, but I actually insert a lot of cloves into the ham also to give it a little bit of flavor. And what you're going to find out by the time we get to the end of this process, that this ham is going to be as good, if not better, than if you went to a Honey Baked Farms to buy a ham. Anyway, like I said, right now the process is just getting all this excess fat off so that we can actually end up scoring the meat. And what you'll notice is as I'm doing this, you'll start to see that I'm actually exposing the actual meat portion itself. The one thing you do want to be careful of, though, is it's very easy as you're cutting for this knife to slip and actually cut you. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually start to cut a little flap of the ham and then slide the knife underneath, and it normally just slides right across the top of the meat and also prevents you from, instead of being lefty, only being righty, because you won't have anything left on your left hand. Okay, we've now got the ham all trimmed down. What we're going to do now is step 2, which is actually what we call scoring the ham. And what we're going to do is we're not going to cut too deep, but what we're going to do is take a nice sharp knife and we're going to make lines across the ham, so that way as we start to cook it, as the ham actually gets done, these gaps will actually start to separate. And that's how you know the ham actually really is starting to cook and look nice. So once we do it one direction, we're going to now turn around, spin it, and we're going to go in opposite direction. And now what we're going to do is we're going to actually do it so that it almost makes diamonds across the top. And then after we get all those diamonds in there, we'll get ready to go to step 3. Okay, step number 3. After we've got the score marks, now what we're going to do is we're going to take some cloves, which you can get in your supermarket, and usually you can get a package for about 99 cents. And then what we start doing is we start placing the cloves in the corners of those diamonds. And what you'll find, now a lot of times I'll actually do it in just a straight line, but just to show you the effect that it has is once you start actually putting it in around the diamond area, you'll see that the ham actually ends up looking really nice. And this is what's going to give it a lot of flavor. I'll normally let it sit overnight before we actually start to bake it so that it absorbs the flavor of the cloves. When I get done here, I'll actually show you what it looks like when you've completed step 3 of the process. Okay, we've now completed step 3 of the process. We put all the cloves in there, as you can see. We've got ourselves a nice little pattern. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get ready to take the ham, place it in a pan overnight so that way it can absorb the flavor of the cloves. In the morning, we're going to get up early because it takes about 4 hours for this to cook, whether you're going to put it on a barbecue or in an oven. We're going to put it at about 400 degrees and cook it for about 4 hours. But I got a few surprises as we do that so that you can see how this thing becomes really, really tender. Anyway, get ready to have a good night, get some rest because you're going to be up early in the morning. Okay, we're now at the 2-hour mark, and as you can see, I took the foil off, and you can see the score marks starting to open up now, which means the ham's starting to get to a point where it's really cooking. And what we're going to do again is add some more Pepsi at the since it's the 45-minute mark, and what we'll do is put it back in and set it for another 45 minutes. So here we go, and you don't have to pour a lot on, just lightly glaze the top of the ham with the Pepsi, and again, it's going to keep it nice, moist, and tender. Alright, we'll check back with you in a couple hours. Everybody, as you can tell, we got some more people showing up at the house now. Just about dinner time. So the last step before we start to carve the ham is we're going to end up making a little bit of a glaze that's going to go on top of it. I prefer C&H brown sugar. So what you do is you take some of the brown sugar, you're going to end up throwing it into a nice little bowl. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mix some French's yellow mustard with it. And trust me, it's going to be one of the best glazes you've ever tasted. Once we get it done, we're going to brush it on the ham and leave it for about 15 minutes. I'll show you what that looks like shortly. Okay, before we glaze the ham, we want to make sure we pull all of the cloves out. And then as you can see, if you look, this is our mixture of honey and mustard. I'm sorry, not honey and mustard, but brown sugar and mustard. And now what we're going to get ready to do is to baste or glaze the ham. Okay, once we do this, we're going to put it back in the oven uncovered for about 15 minutes. It's going to start to bubble. When we take it out, then we're getting ready to cut the best damn holiday ham. Okay, as you can tell, it's getting a little bit louder here. Christmas dinner is about ready to break loose, and right now we have the best damn holiday ham. And I did tell you, I forgot to tell you one thing. If you like, you can save the juice that's in the bottom of the pan and actually pour it over the ham when it's done, and you'll get a lot of the clove and sweet flavoring added to it. Alright, have a merry holiday. See you next time.